Food. Do I have a parliamentarian today?
She's not coming.
What?
She's not coming.
You're parliamentarian. Those are really good fries today. Their fries are really good today. Thank God. Because they were bad, and then they were really good, and then they got really bad, and now they're good. The first time I had the bad ones, the first time I had the bad ones, I actually called Rich and was like, hey, I got a bad batch of fries. And then I realized that that's how they were. Yeah, they're bad.
I'll be out here before 8 today too.
I would love to. Does anyone want to be parliamentarian for the day?
Doug.
You just have to sit at the front and surf on Facebook, because that's what Divya does the whole assembly, so. What? Kidding. No, but really, if anyone wants to, yeah, oh, come on. I think that's Bill 1909. I'm pretty sure, because we have to do it in the form of a bill. Exciting.
Hold on 2 seconds.
No. I run this meeting. You got 20 minutes to come up with the tip of the week. I'm just warning you. Okay. Better be good. No, I left it at home. I left the gavel at home. Welcome. Let's do this.
Representative Ateshelu.
President Bodie.
Representative Bagat.
Yo.
Representative Crawley. Representative Haas.
President Bodie.
Representative Hamilton.
President Bodie.
Representative Hammond. Representative Kawashima. Representative Mikowski. Representative Matthews. Representative Moser.
President Bodie.
Representative O'Brien.
He's in the bathroom.
Representative Pandat. Representative Perlowski.
President Bodie.
Representative Shim. Representative Baisley.
President Bodie.
Representative Bell.
President Bodie.
Representative Downey. Representative Hoffman.
President Bodie.
Representative Lupton.
President Bodie.
Representative McCachran. Representative Shillo.
President Bodie.
Representative Villano. Representative Zoltan. Representative Brubaker.
President voting.
Representative Renard.
President Bodie.
Representative Pak. Representative In.
President Bodie.
Representative Fernandez.
President Bodie.
Representative Sedana. Representative Asaf. Representative Moeller.
President Bodie.
Representative Redensik.
President Bodie.
Representative Ionity. Representative Irizarry. Representative Zhang.
President Bodie.
Representative Irick.
President Bodie.
Representative Lux.
President Bodie.
Representative Tyken.
President Bodie.
Speaker Douglas.
Present.
Vice President Nguyen.
President Bodie.
Vice President Thompson.
President Bodie.
Vice President Sanford.
President Bodie.
Vice President Wang.
President voting.
Vice President Weber.
President Bodie.
President Pinder.
President Bodie. Lame job.
This doesn't need to get personal. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. President Pinder.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you had an enjoyable weekend. Elections are over. Woo! So congratulations to the new USG 2010-2011 USG executive officers and representatives. I'm excited to see what you guys do next year. I do want to recognize a couple of people that were just phenomenal during the selection process. Kevin Moeller, our election commissioner. He did a phenomenal job. All the members of the election commission. And specifically, our Vice President of Information Technology, Skylar Thompson. Awesome job. I know you guys had a few headaches during the past week, but it was well worth it. Your work was phenomenal, okay? Moving on, now the elections are over, our job is not done. We still have a lot of things to take care of. As you can see in my board report, I have kind of a schedule of the final GAs. We have a lot of legislation, a lot of things we need to cover, so just because elections are over, you cannot just suddenly quit USG. We still need you. Your presence is still necessary for us to get some business done and to serve the students. So please look at my board report and govern yourselves accordingly. For the new representatives and for the newly elected representatives, 2 dates to be aware of, please. April 5th, administrator speeding, that is next Monday. We'll have kind of a networking for the new reps and some key administrators to kind of get you acclimated to what being a USG representative is like. And April 12th, key date, inauguration, USG inauguration in Avorka Atrium at 6:30. Okay? Finally, I have a big announcement, so I need all of your attention, please. May 3rd is Momentum, and Momentum is basically a very large event that the university holds each year to kind of recognize the past year in donations, and they usually make a big announcement. Last year, 4 faculty chairs were announced. This year, another big announcement is going to be made. I cannot say what it is, but it's a very large capital project that is designed to specifically help students. So if you can read between the lines, it's very important that all of you are there. May 3rd, so put your calendars out, May 3rd, 6 o'clock. USG was very instrumental in making this happen. I cannot say what it is. It's in the Wolstein Research Building. Thank you, Vice President. So the Wolstein Research Building, May 3rd, 6 o'clock. I would like to see all of you there. I know some people have exams, so we're trying to get that worked out. But if you can't make it for exams, I totally understand. But if you can, May 3rd, Momentum, please be there, okay? I'll cover the Board of Trustees and Strategic Planning overview later in the agenda, but until then, I'm open to points.
Dwayne, do you want to tell everyone exactly what Momentum is, other than where there's a big announcement about something related to student life?
So I haven't been to Momentum before, so why don't you add some detail, please?
Sorry, I didn't mean to put
No problem.
No, it's just Momentum is basically the biggest event that Donor Relations and Development hosts. So pretty much anyone who's donated any amount of money to the university is invited. Usually they're people that have buildings named after them. So Wolsteins and Rockefellers and people whose names you're going to recognize even if you don't know who they are. So it is a professional event. Everyone should probably be in a suit of some sort.
Should be in a suit.
And it is very exciting because aside from announcements, it is a really cool opportunity to schmooze and talk about what you do with USG and to say all of the things that you wish the university could be with the help of donors. Great, I'm done.
Yep. So be there. It's a really cool event in itself, but there's going to be a really big announcement that I want every single member of USG to be there for. Okay? All right? I'm open to points.
Where did you say it was again?
Wolstein Research Building. Representative Lupton.
Is this going to be a free event for us to
Yes.
participate? So USG's been formally invited?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Senator Bagat?
Obviously not at this time, but can you talk to you, can we guess?
No.
Representative Hamilton?
Is it open to the whole student body?
So they specifically want a set number of students. So please keep this to yourself. Even though this is broadcast, I want specific members of USG to be there.
Representative Hoffman?
Regarding the April 5th and April 12th events.
Yep.
What if you can't go to the class?
You should email me.
You?
Yeah.
Representative Pulaski?
For Momentum, do we need to register in any way?
No.
Just show up.
Why are you looking at me?
No. Any other points? Thanks.
Oh, yes, I don't know your name, I'm sorry.
Kelly.
Hello.
Do the new executive board members need to go to the events on April 5th and April 12th?
They do. Mandatory. Yep. Thanks.
Thank you, President Pinder. Vice President Nguyen?
I have nothing too much to add to my board report. I do want to ask one question, and I might just extend it to open forum, but I wanted to see how the rabbit went with bagless people, I guess, bagless people. I wonder if that happened, and I wonder if that, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Vice President Weber?
No report.
Super. Vice President Wang?
No report.
Sorry, I took a week off and I'm done. Vice President Sanford?
I yield my time to Representative Bell.
All right, first our board report. As everybody, if you don't know, Thursday, we're in purple. There's going to be baked goods on the quad. Amy probably will talk more about that. For Spring Fest, we decided for our clothing decisions, we're going to do trucker hats and shot glasses. So we're still working on the coloring of the shot glass and the trucker hats design. So get excited for that. Again, we'll have a like duck pond, you know, where the magnets, you get a duck pond, you get the duck out, you get your prize. So hopefully that lasts longer. Study over, we're looking into getting a root beer keg and like a soft serve vanilla ice cream machine so you can get root beer floats. So hopefully that works out. And then next week we're going to be dedicating our PR meeting to overhaul, looking into overhaul, seeing what we can do about that. So for spotlights, I'm open to points on that.
Representative Perlowski?
Have you chosen a glassware company?
We have not yet.
Okay, I have a name for you then.
Okay, 1 sec. Jack, you want to write it down for me? Okay.
I'm not, I'm just focused.
Okay, all right. Anything else? Okay. Okay.
All right, this person was born and raised in Magadan, Russia. Okay, that's just not even fair. I just really started with definitely more.
It's J1.
False. All right, so one thing they couldn't live without was makeup. Okay, I see like the second hand one up was the girl in the pink, and I'm really sorry for her. Yeehaw. Yes.
Representative Vaughn.
Yeah.
All right. Read some of the other things about her.
All right, so some of the other things about her. Strangest thing she ever ate at, or strangest thing ever ate, Buddha's hand. It's a fruit. All right, guilty pleasures, lip gloss. Pet peeve is dramatic people. And soundtrack to her life is Beautiful, Dirty, Rich, Lady Gaga. So, some awesome things about Svetlana. All right.
All right, so our other representative spotlight is, let's see, biggest pet peeves, when people chew with their mouths open or speak and don't know what they're talking about, and pre-meds. Yikes. All right. Can't live without my Juicy Couture suit. All right. Scared of losing my voice / getting a B.
Is it Representative Tyken?
Yes, it is.
I've never gotten one before. President Pinder,
I informed him that he had something on the back of his jacket, but it fell off, so he was looking to
in short, President Pinder's kick me idea did not work. The sign on my back, I'm sorry.
All right. Yep. Strangest thing she's ever eaten is octopus. So that's about all. All right.
Thank you, Public Relations. Vice President Thompson.
No report, because we didn't meet with Michael Kubit yesterday, because our schedules got mixed up. I'm not with more.
Excellent. I'll now move into. You have a point? Okay.
Hi, GA. A little election wrap-up, if you will. So it's been a long week for me. I have about a ton of election-related complaints in my inbox. I could use a shave and a haircut. Dwayne would say I'm looking pretty lumberjacky, but it's pretty much over. So that being said, we have 2 runoff elections next week for an arts and sciences position between Fadia Saf and Stephen Lee, and a weatherhead position between Paki Zhang and Shayla Lee. Despite everything that happened last week, I truly consider it a rewarding experience. I learned a ton about leadership, which I think was my goal in the first place. As a leader, you will often only hear the complaints, what you're doing wrong. It may not even be you that's doing wrong, but you're held accountable. It takes a lot of sleepless nights, patience, perseverance. Decisions need to be made, and you can never please everyone, however hard you may try. But when we elect a commissioner for the fall, consider running. You won't regret it. Open to points.
President Bittner.
Is the speaker aware that you just gave me a warm brownie feeling?
Thank you, Commissioner Moeller, for all of your work this past week. We appreciate it. We will now move into caucus reports. For Engineering Caucus, let's see, Colin, is there anyone to report? Representative Hoffman?
Colin, Jared and I met with Dean Chen last week to talk about the engineering reading room, and just then it kind of we treat on to we talk about communication just between decisions that the dean is involved with and like communicating that to students, and also space and kind of ideas for space. And apparently they're hiring a lot of new engineering professors next year, like 25 I think. So that's like really exciting. Yeah.
Also, I met with James Eller from ESS. Look for that next week. We're going to discuss that in our office.
Great. Excellent work, Engineering Caucus. Any questions? Okay. For the Arts and Science Caucus, Representative Bagat.
We're just finalizing plans of having dinner with Dwayne. Other than that, no.
Excellent. For the Nursing Caucus, Representative Irick.
Yeah, I'm giving a report today. As of right now, we have 120 surveys from cupcake complaints, and we're meeting with Dr. Lotus on Friday. That's it.
Excellent. For the Weatherhead Caucus, is there a report?
So far,
there you are.
we receive around 90 surveys, and we have some comments and suggestions about the weatherhead. So any open reports? Thank you.
Representative
Also,
Ewing.
we're meeting with Jim Boyd next Wednesday to start asking questions about things we're working on with the weatherhead.
Excellent. Sorry, Paki, I didn't see you. Representative Lupton.
Yeah, with those 90 comments, you said you learned a lot. What specifically did you learn that you maybe have not realized was a problem?
Oh yeah, like through the survey, we've common like we've seen like a lot of students they kind of like worry about in the weatherhead there is a lot of like the part-time professors. Since like they are a little bit hard to catch them due to their office hours or something. So like that's the part we will going to talk to the German party, and I think Elizabeth she will have like more comments.
That they don't accept credit cards at the cafe.
Serious
Otherwise,
issue.
printing issues that are getting worse as time goes, and just general internship availability. So these two goes along with it.
Excellent. Thank you, Weatherhead. For the first year caucus, Representative Fernandez.
We just finished planning the ice cream and popsicle event. We just assigned people, and there's some stuff to figure out at which point.
Excellent. Is there a date and time set for that?
Yeah, April. Did we set up? Like, Andrew's not here. Andrew knows it.
Okay.
It's the last week before finals.
Great.
So that's
Send it to GA when you know, so we're all there. Excellent. Parliamentarian tip of the week.
Life's a ditch. Get a shovel and dig it.
It has to be true. Your parliamentarian said it. President Pinder, would you please go over the trustees and the strategic plan?
Thank you, Speaker Douglas. Okay, so next week, huge week. The chair of the Board of Trustees and our own university president will be visiting and kind of addressing GA and kind of just telling us what they do, and it'll be an opportunity for us to ask questions and really advocate on behalf of your constituents. So a couple housekeeping things. Attire for everybody who plans on attending is business professional. What I am wearing right now is not okay. Even though I look nice, I know I do. It's not okay. I want to see everybody in business professional. Please respect the office of the president and the Board of Trustees with your attire. I want us to present ourselves in the best light, okay? Second of all, we will not be running GA in the same manner, I guess, just because we want to have as much time as possible to be able to discuss things with the president and the chair of the Board of Trustees. So we are going to really shorten our caucus and committee reports. Everything that should be addressed will be in the agenda. Myself, the VPs, and the speakers of the caucus will only be needing to ask for points. And please, if there's a clarifying question that's absolutely necessary, please ask. But we really want to make sure that we have the most time left to kind of discuss things with the chair and the president. Okay, so we're really going to try to cut down caucus and committee reports to 5 minutes maximum, and then we're going to have that time right after for the Board of Trustees, the chair of the Board of Trustees and the president to kind of address us, and then for us to ask questions. After that, we'll move back into our regular business of looking at legislation and open forum and announcements. Okay? Is there any questions on that before I move in? On giving you just some key information that you guys probably should need just to have, so we can have the most productive discussion possible. Okay, so I perused basically the operating documents of the Board of Trustees over the past weekend, and I just came up with this quick summary, which will be sent out to you after GA, of basically what the board does and why. It's good to think about the board as kind of an overseeing body that's similar to the structure of USG in the sense of they have the chair of the board, which is similar to my role, combined with the speaker, because the chair presides at meetings. And they have a committee structure which oversees all of the activities at the university at a very high level. So again, keep this in mind. Questions, comments, and discussion will be at a really high level next week. We really don't want to have questions on why we picked a certain desk size or why we are sitting in certain chairs in biology class, because it's really low level, minute details. We really want to keep things high level so that we can kind of discuss the strategic vision and the overall direction of the university, okay? So I'm going to just go over a couple highlights of this document, which will be sent out to you later in the day, okay? So the overall kind of mission of the Board of Trustees is to establish policies generally to govern the management and operation of the university, to oversee the educational programs of the university, to elect a president of the university, appoint and determine the rank of all members of the university faculty and principals, administrative officers, hold and manage property and endowments of the university, approve the annual budget for the university, oversee its administration, grant degrees, promote the general interest of the university. Basically, this is the body that oversees anything important that happens at the university, and this is the body that the president of the university, our own president Barbara Snyder, reports to on basically all matters, okay? So they have a committee structure, as I said before, similar to ours. They have an executive committee, which is made up of the chair, the vice chairs, and anyone that the chair and the president decide need to be on the executive committee, and they kind of decide the strategic vision of the overall Board of Trustees and the university, and they're the ones who act in the absence of the Board of Trustees on some certain issues. One, electing new trustees, electing or removing the president if necessary, and three, amending the Articles of Incorporation and Regulation or bylaws, which is similar to our Constitution and bylaws, which is where these things were taken from. Okay, and then they overall set the strategic vision of the university. Now they have a lot of different committees. I'm just going to go over a couple of them. You can look over them in your free time. Very important committee, the Academic Affairs and Student Life Committee, which really deals with a lot of the stuff that USG kind of deals with on a day-to-day basis. And it's the committee that I, as the USG president, sit on as a special advisor. So twice a year during September and then during February when the board meets, I sit on the Academic Affairs and Student Life Committee and basically just, add my input as the representative of the undergraduate student body. So myself and then Mintreat next year, and then all the USG presidents past and present and future have sat on this committee just to provide added input on the overall student life. So they discuss things as far as undergraduate and graduate academic programs, and anything really related to anything that regarding student life. Vice President Glenn Nichols also serves as a special advisor to this committee. So this is the committee that really drives a lot of what USG does on a really high level, okay? All right, so moving forward, there's a campus planning committee, which kind of discusses all construction projects that might be happening on the university. Development Committee, which kind of goes out and seeks funds to support the activities of the university. Audit Committee, which is really an external body that kind of oversees our financial documents, making sure that we're mitigating risk. The Finance Committee, which looks at the overall financial vision of the university. Investment Committee, which is mainly about our endowment, securing funds and managing how we're using it, making sure it's sustainable as possible. And the Compensation Committee, which overlooks the compensation of the university president and the people who report to the president. So this body is basically what really moves and drives the entire university. Whenever something big is happening at the university, this body really has to oversee it. One of the interesting things, our new tagline, think beyond the possible, we couldn't put it on anything until the Board of Trustees approved it. So this is very, very important. This is really, and finally we have the Committee on Trustees, which I forgot to go, and that's similar to if you guys are on different honorary societies, like a membership committee, looking out, seeking new trustees that could be on, and developing the criteria for membership on the Board of Trustees, okay? And then under that, you have a really detailed description of what the chair of the Board of Trustees kind of does. As I said, it's kind of a combination between myself and Speaker Douglas, because the chair presides at the meetings of the executive committee and the meetings of the full board, which are similar to the meetings of the undergraduate student government. And also serves as an ex officio, which it serves on all the committees, just to kind of see what's happening at all times. And there's a maximum of 2 years that the chair can serve, and then a new chair was elected, okay? So I think that gives you a pretty quick overview of what the board is and why. This document will be sent out with a link to their articles of incorporation and bylaws, which has a lot more detail. I kind of pick and choose what I thought would be interesting for you guys to hear today, and then you guys can go through. I know Doug would probably want to look at their constitution and bylaws really heavily to see what they're all about. And then just feel free to send me any questions that you have to prepare for the meeting next week, okay? Are there any questions about what I just went over before we go into the strategic plan? Representative Haas?
Are there any topics that you suggest we don't bring up? Not shared, but like...
Right. I met with the president in our monthly meeting last week. She just really stressed things be high level. The reason why President Snyder is coming to support Chairman Koch is that if he gets a question, if one of you guys asks a question that he doesn't know, she would probably know. So just to support him. So again, I cannot stress keeping things high level, what the vision of the university is, where we're going in the future, and try to stay away from really, really minute details, okay? So that's why we're going to the strategic plan, because this is really a good document for you guys to look at and can be a source for really good questions. So that's why we're going over it now. So I would focus on questions about the Board of Trustees, how they do things, and then 2 questions about the strategic plan and what we're doing and why. That makes sense? Cool. All right. So this document will be sent out later with a link to their constitution and bylaws, and feel free to just send me any questions you have. Now, can we go to the strategic plan? All right, cool. Now, I love this document. This is the 5-year strategic plan, which really kind of is the motivating factor and drives all of the action that the university has taken since 2008 and will take until 2013. A lot of the things that have been done and will be done I mentioned the strategic plan. So kind of just to go to overview, the strategic plan has 4 major goals to accomplish over the next 5 years. 1, to enhance our education and research. 2, to build a diverse community. 3, strengthen partnerships. 4, advance institutional resources. And the university leadership thinks that these goals will bring Case Western Reserve closer to realizing its potential as a preeminent university, and also elevate the individual promise of each student's to each student's staff and faculty. Okay? All right, so again, I'm just going to go over a brief overview so you guys can kind of just get a sense of what's in this plan. I really want you guys to, during this week, go over this in really great detail, peruse it. Any questions that you have, I think it would be a really great topic to bring up when the board, when the chairman of the board is here and the president is also. Okay, so the first goal is impact. All right, so this goal is the university is seeking to strengthen our reach in education, research, and scholarship, and other forms of discovery, which will advance our academic programs to increase the university's impact. So if you kind of can look at these, a lot of you have heard about the strategic alliances, ethics, social justice. This is where these alliances are kind of set out in the university's direction. Case Western Reserve University really wants to kind of be a leader in collaboration and building bridges between our schools. So we don't just want to study business, we don't just want to study medicine. We want to study the world's problems in a way that we can collaboratively affect change through different methods. So through business and medicine, through science, technology, and arts and sciences. So these are different areas that the university set out that we want to attack collaboratively. So human health, culture, creativity, and design. And these alliances have been funded through the Provost Initiative and are starting now. So you guys should start seeing some really good developments in the next year. If you can go to the bottom. The international. Yep, all right, so this goal, enhance the international character of the university. One of our first guests was Associate Provost David Fleschler. This point is why he is here, to really enhance and promote the international character of the university and to bring Case Western Reserve University in the 21st century when it comes to internationalization. So that point right there is why he's here and what he's really focused on and implementing. Okay? So let's go to the second goal, which really kind of focuses on a lot of what USG has done and is doing. And that's the diversity of the campus community. Through the promotion of cultural understanding, recognition of excellence, attraction of the outstanding student, faculty, and staff base, Case Western Reserve University will develop a strong, vibrant, diverse community. All right. So one of the big points is recruiting, retaining, and developing outstanding students. This is really what Vice President Rick Bischoff is focused on, the recruiting and retention of our students, and how we get the most amazing and brightest students here to Case Western Reserve University and mold them and shape them to leave and become some of the world's leaders. So let's see. Go down to the bottom if you could. Promote diversity. That right there, you see fill the position of Vice President for Inclusion, Diversity, and Equal Opportunity. When this strategic plan was made, Vice President Mobley wasn't here. We just had a position that needed to be filled, and now she's here because of the strategic plan. And then at the bottom, let's see. Make the campus more vibrant. You see the first point, build a university center. That is the only capital building project that is stated in the strategic plan, basically just saying it's the university's #1 priority, and hopefully soon we will get one. Okay, and then again, just look at these in detail. You're going to see a lot of similarities to what USG has been focused on in the past year and this year, and things that we're really working. Academic advising and mentoring is stated in here. Again, this is a really big goal and is really focused on the student life of Case. Okay. The final two I'll kind of go through quickly because they're focused on the external. The community. This is just to increase our partnerships and to make Case more receptive to the surrounding community. So increasing partnerships with alumni, really strengthening those connections, increasing partnerships with different schools around the university, different community organizations, really making sure that Case Western is a partner and a really staunch institution within the Cleveland community. Okay? And then let's go to the fourth goal. All right, this is, I don't know, maybe one of my favorite goals just because it says transparency in it. Integrity and transparency. This is just for the university to improve the ability to assess academic programs, track our finances, provide high-quality services to students, staff, faculty, and alumni. One of the points I really want to highlight is improving internal customer satisfaction with administrative services. This is something that USG has been really instrumental in making sure that students, staff, faculty, administration are satisfied with the administrative services that we have at Case. There's been a lot of different complaints about just working with different offices and how receptive people are. And we really want Case Western to be a place where everybody's satisfied with all the different services. So that's one of the goals that's identified and something that the university is really working on. Okay? All right. That concludes my little overview. Again, I'll send this out with operating documents to the Board of Trustees, but this is a really good document to kind of just plan out the strategic vision of the university and to get some really good material for questions for the chairman of the Board of Trustees. Okay? Any questions? Representative Lupton.
Yeah, in reading all those points in strategic plan,
Yep.
a lot of them are just ambiguous, just very generalized. Is there any document that is an action plan?
So that's a really good question. So the provost, one of his main jobs as executive vice president is to implement the strategic plan. And as USG president, I've sat on the strategic leadership planning committee, which basically is how are we going to achieve the strategic plan each year. And so each year, this committee comes up with a document of saying, what's our action agenda for the year 2010? What's our action agenda for the year 2011? How are we going to make these things a reality? And to make sure that we actually, by 2013, we've achieved most, if not all, of our goals. So I will see if I can get the action agenda for 2010. I think I have it in one of my folders somewhere, and I'll send it out to you. Okay? That's a really good question.
Any other questions? President Pinder? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We will now move into old business. Is there any old business? Senator O'Brien?
Bill B-19-09.
What about it?
Move to introduce. Second.
Excellent. Is there a speaker in the pro? Take it away.
Okay, so this is, these are our amendments to the USG Constitution. Divya introduced them last week, and we got some feedback. General Assembly provided some feedback during last week's GA, and she made some changes accordingly. So there's all the amendments, plus the Judicial Board met this week, and we have made a couple changes. Two of them have been based on General Assembly feedback, and one was regarding an issue the Judicial Board Committee, or excuse me, the Judicial Board thought was important. So just to run through those really quickly, last week there was a proposed amendment to change the way we elected first-year representatives. So instead of having them elected out of residential halls, we would just have 3 representatives per residential college. That's the first-year residential colleges. We struck that down. We're going to keep it as is. We did tighten up the language a little bit, but the substance remains the same. The second comment that we just clarified up the requirements for to run for president and then vice president of finance. In the old Constitution, it said that you needed 1 previous semester to serve in the roles of president or vice president, and there's a question of, well, was that the semester immediately preceding taking on the role as president or vice president, or is that just any semester during your course, during your tenure at Case Western? And we decided it would just be any semester during your tenure at Case Western. So whether that semester in USG was 3 years ago or yesterday, it doesn't matter. It's not time sensitive. And then the final amendment, hopefully you've all had a chance to look at it, involves the inner workings of the executive committee. and we just deleted a sentence at the end of that section. Yeah, so I guess. Open points.
Yeah, are there any points for the speaker? Okay. Thank you, Representative O'Brien. Is there a speaker in the con? Seeing none, we will open discussion. Limit 5 minutes. Are there any points for discussion on Bill B 19-09 and the entire USG Constitution? If not, I will entertain a motion to previous question. Vice President Nguyen?
Can you guys elaborate on why you guys decided to strike out the electing first-year representatives plan that you guys first amended?
I think that was, and both Claire and Faith are on the committee as well, so help me out if you get further insight. I think when considering the deeper the deeper substance of having them come out of residential colleges, we thought perhaps it would erode the connection between the representative and the other students. If we expanded it to representatives per residential college rather than one representative per residence hall. And we felt just the way it is, although there are problems with the current system, we felt the benefits of the current system outweigh the costs. Specifically, we wanted to maintain that closer connection. Is that clear? Yeah.
Other points for discussion? Representative Haas?
I didn't know Skylar at the time, but Skylar was an at-large representative most of his freshman year because we didn't have this plan, and because there was Representative Doors. He didn't get elected, whereas we re-elected people for all other ones, and he has been a spectacular VP of IT. So I think it's encouraging more competition between a larger group of students and people who really want to have positions. I don't think that would hurt us, and I'm not sure that it would. I mean, I was absolutely not tied at all to anyone in Norton, so I don't feel like I would have really more aligned myself with Juniper than Norton, so I'm not sure that striking his.
Any other points for discussion? Representative Brubaker?
Article 7, Section B. With that amendment, are you saying that on the executive committee, the secretary and treasurer now all do have votes on the executive committee? Or why was that line deleted?
Yeah, so effectively, sort of the thought process going into this is this has been discussed, to my knowledge, at length every single year regarding who should have a vote on executive committee. And we decided, I guess striking the last line served two purposes. The one purpose was to save future GAs the trouble of debating it at length and kind of having no outcome of that debate, and it just comes up year after year after year. So kind of end closure to that debate. And we also decided more substantively because, and I know this is true during like my experience on exec last year, and Divya expressed that it was similar to the exec this year, is that the voting is very informal. It's very much at the president's discretion. It doesn't adhere strictly to the Constitution. And so by deleting it, we are kind of formalizing what's already happening and not specifically commenting on who gets a vote in executive and leaving that to the president and the current executive board committee. So kind of aligning what's happening in reality, sort of what's kind of formalized and institutionalized in the Constitution, and bringing those into line with one another.
Representative Perlasky?
This does kind of concern me because the reason this always comes up is because the people who
do have a formal vote on exec. If something were to ever come up where it did need like an absolutely very formal vote and exec, kind of had to make that decision, that these are the people who are elected directly by the students, with the exception of the speaker, who is to represent the interests of all the representatives. So, I think that that's something that should be discussed, is that I know it never usually comes to that extreme of a case, but when it does, it should be the people voting who are elected directly by the students.
Okay.
Representative Ryan?
So we certainly consider that point has been brought up several times in the past, but we have felt, and I think, and speaking to the strength, the counter argument was not only made by members of USG, but the several members of the Judicial Board that are not in USG, when they kind of heard the argument that you just described, that I know has been talked about many times in the past, they found that very, there's kind of a gap in the logic that everyone who's voting should be directly elected by the student body, but then there's that exception of the speaker, and it's sort of to bring consistency into the amendment. Then you have to involve the debate of, well, should each, the treasurer, secretary, and the speaker all get a vote, or should each of them not get a vote? And we found that to be a lot more problematic and a lot more cumbersome and a lot more. We just found that it's just much easier, much more effective, and much more realistic to strike that last sentence and create more consistency within the Constitution.
Other points for discussion? Discussion is ended. I will entertain a motion to call.
Second.
Okay. All in favor of ending discussion, please signify by raising your hand. Excellent. All opposed? Okay. We will now vote on Bill B 19-09 as originally authored. This vote is for anyone who is elected as of before this election. So if you were just elected, thanks for coming, but you guys can't vote until you're inaugurated on April 12th. So all in favor of Bill B 19-09 as authored, please signify by raising your hand. All opposed? Thank you. Abstentions? Okay. Bill B 19-09 passes. Yes, sir.
So, because we're elected by the students, these amendments will be sent out to the student body to ratify by the student body in a ballot. Because we were a little late this year, they won't be on. They're not on the same ballot as the elections. They're going to be on a separate ballot and sent out to the student body so they can ratify these changes. Okay.
So these changes are not valid until ratified.
Correct.
So you're aware. Representative Pulaski?
What percentage of the student body needs to vote to approve, and what is considered quorum for students voting?
I believe 2/3. And I'm not sure, but
I don't think there's a minimum number of students that need to vote, but it's 2/3 to ratify.
So 6 people voted and 4 said yes. I'm sure Mark here will be much more.
I think we'd have bigger problems if only 6 people voted. Colleen?
I might have missed this, but is this going to be in alignment with the election of the 2 reps that are missing? Like, is there a way to do that so it's a secondary election with passing the Constitution and the representatives? Is that possible? So that it's not.
It has to be 2 separate elections because one of the, like, the art and sciences rep election will be restricted to art and science students, but this will be open to everybody.
Well, could it be?
2 separate ballots.
Okay.
We can have at the same time.
It'd be like the stats.
Right, they can be the same
I
year.
don't care how it's operationalized, but it should be the same exact way.
Yeah, right, but they don't have to vote twice. Yeah, they can be the same ones.
Okay, just so we're not confusing the whole campaigning with the COC voting in Thursday, Friday, or just election.
Excellent. Is there any other old business? Seeing none, nominations are still open for the School of Engineering representative position. This is the last week they could be elected for 6 days. If elected next week, Representative Lupton.
I just want to see for the word. Representative, or she's not a representative anymore, Leah Cross. See if she'll come back for.
Any other nominations? Yes. Representative Moser.
How do you spell his last name?
U-A-S-H. U-A-Q-I-S.
Excellent. Yes, Representative Schiller.
For the personal privilege.
Take off. All right. Nominations will remain open until next week when we will vote for the vacancy in the School of Engineering, provided that we have a valid and accepted candidate. We'll now move into new business. Is there any new business? Seeing none, the floor is open. Any points for open forum? Representative Tyken.
The nursing caucus would like to know when Dunkin' Donuts is coming to Plain.
Vice President Nguyen, please. Oh,
We're not promising that it's going to be Dunkin' Donuts. We are, trying to talk about this, like there could be a better option, but at this point, it'll probably fall on the student life committee for next year.
Representative Bagat.
So near the village track scoreboard, like near the exit for the parking lot, there's just like a giant pile of dirt next to a truck that's like a case pickup truck that's been there for like a week or two now. It's this really large pile of dirt that's in my way.
Does anyone know why there's a large pile of dirt?
Have you tried to facility services and asking them why there's a pile of dirt? They might have been just the, planting season.
They did some tree renovation outside of Village House 5, and they took out some trees, so that might be what it's from.
I'm great with them.
Oh yeah.
They removed it when they removed the trees.
Here, let me send you an email.
Throw it out there.
With a name, and you can contact this person. Okay.
Inquire about their tree renovation.
They took out 3 trees. Sorry.
Representative Lupton.
Yeah, I just want to see everybody, next week I was thinking about having Relay for Life fundraiser during USG. It would be the Pizza BOGO, it'd be $5. We'd be asking for $8 to $10 or whatever you can give, but I'll be sending out an email. I just want to see, is that, I heard some stuff. Is that something people might want to do?
Comment? I just question whether that would detract from the professional nature we're going for.
It would be, you're right, 2 GAs.
He's good. He's good. 2 GAs from now.
Yeah, wait.
Let's do it.
I could email Barbara Snyder and see if she wanted to.
President Snyder.
I think she'd be president.
Ooh, excuse me.
Representative Moser.
I noticed that channel 50 is no longer on his cable channel, and I was wondering, it's just like a blue channel now. I was wondering if it could be replaced with HBO.
Vice President Thompson, do you have a response? Interesting. Vice President Thompson.
At least on the top of the hill, the cable quality has been significantly degraded over the past couple of weeks. Is that affecting anybody else? I just want to know the extent.
So it's campus-wide?
I think it's campus-wide. I've had my cable freeze for a good 5 minutes.
Well, so you have a lot of static, especially on what would normally be a broadcast channel.
Yeah.
Can somebody look into this? Thank you, Vice President Thompson.
Housing, you go directly to RHA or housing.edu. Yeah.
Well, I know, at least with cable, it's run through fiber optic network, so it's an ITS issue. So I can deal with it.
That might be okay. Do you want to take that up next?
Thank you for looking into that, Vice President Thompson. Representative Hamilton.
This week, both the wired network and wireless internet have been acting rather slow.
Vice President, no, I expected. Representative Haas.
I called Skylar, and he told me to call 216-368 help, and I called, and I talked to this person far away, and he was very mean to me. And I said the internet was really slow, and he made me run speedtest.net, which like shows upload download speed. And I did that, but my internet was really slow. And he kept asking me what websites I was using, and technically at the time it was Facebook, but like, so I lied and I said it was a different website. But he was mean, and so when I got my like email back, I commented back saying that it was very unprofessional, and I felt like I don't know that much about computers, so I felt very pressured to like lie. And in my email, they said that it had been like fixed, even though it hadn't been. They just said that it wasn't slow. They said that I didn't know anything about computers. And so I was like, I go to a campus where we've been having trouble with people use bandwidth, and they emailed me another response, again saying that I was stupid and that there were these things I could do. And so if you are going to complain by calling them, just be prepared that they are not going to be nice to you. They are very mean, and they'll even respond even after you complain again. So I know that it's slow, but they won't listen.
Sorry you had a bad experience. Vice President-elect Maloney, is that correct?
Would you be able to provide me with the name of the CDI support member that you talked to? I can forward you my email. That's great, thank you.
Thank you. She's not even elected yet. How do you feel? Representative Daikin.
I just wanted to tell everyone to be careful. I was walking to clinical on Sunday morning. Okay, so it was 6 o'clock in the morning, but there was this weird taxi driver following me, so I ran inside the police house, and the police officer told me that it's been a little bit of a problem. So be careful, and if you see a weird taxi cab, like run to where there are people, or just say. Don't need to be sure about it.
Is it a yellow taxi cab? Could you describe the taxi cab?
Don't go with pitch black, taxi cab with a big driver in it, and he was really scary.
Stay away from sketchy taxi cabs. Don't take candy from strangers. Vice President Thompson.
As a follow-up to that, there is a gentleman going around Cleveland Heights. He has been for the past couple months. He's approached me a few times. Who tells you his daughter is at the clinic, and he's been trying to get around like CVS for days or something, and he wants a ride and don't get it from him. Don't be done.
I saw him last semester. He said the same thing.
Yeah.
I believe he's doing that since I was in freshman.
Use your head. Don't create security alerts. Any other points for open forum? Representative Pulaski.
So the security alert that involved the student driving and the person like banged on their window, and it was like personally the most terrifying security alert because I took the personal safety awareness class, and all we learned about was how not to get your car jacked, and it was terrifying. But I had heard recently that was a falsified police report. And I was wondering if they have any system of putting that out there, because I know like half of our campus is now completely terrified of carjackers, which is fine. Like that's a legitimate fear. You should be very careful. But if it was unwarranted, I feel as though we should have some mechanism to tell students, like, I'm sorry, this police report was falsified. You don't have to be terrified of carjackers when it's a nice day. Like you can put your window down 2 inches, just be aware.
I believe they sent out a second email follow-up that said that was a oops.
The email said that I believe that the information couldn't be verified, that there were conflicting stories. Not everything was released in the first police report, and then the follow-up said that it couldn't be verified. I think it's safe to say that it was left slightly up in the air, but I think they ended up saying that they weren't quite sure what had happened.
But also,
So.
as a follow-up to that, does anyone know why security alerts very selectively forward? Because I sometimes have issues with that, so I have to like go back into my case mail to find security alerts. It doesn't forward to my Gmail. But I mean, I got the first report. I didn't get the second report. And I know it's a problem for a lot of other people too.
I will say that they are sent out through the same email list that all campus announcements are. It's the entire campus community list that has like 20,000 people on it. So I think it's just spam filters and Gmail doing whatever it wants. Senator Blup.
Yeah, can somebody touch on real quick the USG shirts? I think it's Emily Hoffman.
Representative Hoffman?
I got the designs from Dwayne and I haven't made a shirt. I'm sorry. Probably what I'll do is hopefully by next Tuesday, send out a survey that would be like, here's the shirt that I'm designing, here's what it'll be, and probably it'll be between $6 and $8. And then maybe you can vote on like what color it's gonna be or something. But like it'll probably be a set design, so it'll be like, do you want the shirt, yes or no? And then they'll be like, once I order them, they'll be here within a week.
Excellent. Vice President Nguyen?
This is an issue that I think we just kind of touch upon now because we just ran the election system. But I've heard a lot of complaints about the fact that there are different links for individual, I guess, elections. So I don't know if Collegiate Link has a system that kind of can combine them all together the way it used to, because we had a system that did that and it was more convenient because it kind of separated you upon your answers. That's a positive.
No, it would be possible if you couldn't be a dual major in different schools.
That was
because that's how we originally had it set up, but then we realized if people are dual majors, they can vote for exact twice. And that would be an issue.
So that's why we had to separate it. And because the commissions were set up, you couldn't vote. You could only vote in the links that you were set up to. So because we had multiple links, even though there were 5 links, you voted in the links that you were set up to vote. So.
Could anyone comment as to whether or not that affected voter turnout between exec and representatives?
So we had the highest voter turnout in USG history, 1,200 votes.
Excellent.
We didn't compare the total of rep votes versus total number of independents, but I think it was pretty close.
Great.
Yep.
Great.
So voter turnout was not affected at all. It might have been positively affected. Just to give you another side of her, a lot of really positive things about us using Collegiate Link because the system's easier to use. You can access the letters of intent as you click on the names. And it's a lot easier for the election commission to count the votes because we didn't have to verify through a lot of different lists. Once we clicked export, we had the results there. So you guys know, especially the executive officers know, we were able to call you within 5 minutes after 12. So
yeah, like it closed and we had the results at 12:01.
Yeah.
Great. Representative Perlowski?
Are you looking into any specifications to improve the system next year? Because I know IGS students and students who were doing like an experience abroad or something, that they weren't at CASE, but they were still a CASE student, but not enrolled in classes for the semester, weren't able to vote at all. So is there something that's going to like resolve that for next year?
Well, if that's ever an issue, just send me an email and I can add people. But our list was kind of rushed, and so we might have not gotten. Like I know there was a person that came in during the exec meeting who said I'm both a grad and an undergrad student.
Yeah.
And so our lists come from student affairs, right? And so we just need to follow up with them to make sure everybody gets on this list.
Because I heard from 2 IGS students who couldn't do it, and then 2 people who were doing a like practicum experience who couldn't vote.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
If there's any other election grievances, I'm going to ask that they just be sent through Kevin and Dwayne in the interest of time. So are there any new points for open forum? Seeing none, Colleen?
Okay, just a couple real quick. I want to shout out to 2 different groups. One is to the Judicial Board. This is the quickest I've ever seen bylaw or constitutional changes, so excellent job. Thank you so much. Kevin and the commission, they should get another shout out. What an extremely hard and difficult job it is. I know he said it's a rewarding one, and I agree with that. I do completely agree with that. I think I've seen tremendous growth in people who've done the commission position, so good job, really good job. I know that you've heard a lot about this meeting next week, but can I just tell you that history is made? I mean, never has the chair of the Board of Trustees been to USG. Never. And I don't just mean in my career. I mean, since that, and I know since the beginning of USG. So this is really cool. And I think he is so extremely interested in hearing, I mean, ask him about his leadership background. Ask him about his experience as an undergrad. What, was it good? What did he find so great about it? How can, and I mean, so yeah, I think high level is incredibly important. The day-to-day stuff is not what he wants to talk to you about. But I think there's some fun questions too you can ask. So really enjoy next week. I'm so excited for you guys. I know I'm excited. I've never met the board of trustees chair. So transitions. Congratulations to all the new officers, to all the new representatives who are here tonight. I cannot wait to meet with you. I cannot wait to meet you. But this is a really important month, and I'm sure it was alluded to at the beginning of Dwayne's report. I apologize for being late. But I want to empower every rep in this room to be an active participant of the transition between representatives and between officers to officers. If you have suggestions on how the committee can run differently, how the agenda can be set, how goals can be developed, you need to speak up to your current VP. I cannot stress that enough. You can help to operationalize this group for next year. My favorite activity at the retreat is the conversation I get to have with returning reps. When new reps go into a room and they learn about the Constitution and they learn about writing bylaws and all that fun stuff, I get to go with some other officers and have this conversation with returning reps about what's great about USG, what's not so great. That's what your job is in this transition process, to make sure your vice president knows not so great this year or really great, make sure that momentum is kept. Okay, so really take ownership of that. I think it's so incredibly important. And bottom line, if anyone would like to meet with me, any new officers or whatnot, my favorite meetings in the whole world are what do you want to see happen? And seeing if we can't together figure out how we can get from A to Z and how to make that possible. So I'm available. Unfortunately, I've been here since the age of time, so I have some history, and I can at least begin to tell you the names of the people that you really want to get to know and be close to, administratively and other students, etc. So I'm available for this transition period. Okay? Great. Thanks.
Thank you, Colleen. We will now move into announcements. Vice President Wynn.
Okay, so this will be my first announcement as president-elect. For those of you here who are going to be in the next General Assembly for next year, I congratulate you, especially those representatives who aren't current representatives now, and especially for those executive board members who aren't a part of the USG now. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate that you're kind of having a jump start on this and getting to know the organization. I look forward to working with all of you in the next year. I just wanted to touch on a few points. I sent out an email to the new executive board as well as the new representatives. I just want to make sure that everyone received that. It had really important information on there about a couple dates that are mandatory, some that are really suggested, highly suggested. Please make sure you read over those emails, keep them in your inbox, save them, sleep with them in your pillow, I don't know. But other than that, make sure you schedule a meeting with either Colleen or myself. I would love to meet you guys. I would like to talk about what your plans are, visions for your roles and positions for next year. Exec board, my new exec board, I will be proactively scheduling that with you guys, going one by one. But representatives too, I would love to talk and meet with you guys. So other than that, looking forward to next year.
Excellent. Any other announcements? Colleen?
I forwarded to the current exec, but for those of you who are not on that list yet, there is a Student Leadership Council and Journey Series event this Friday. For those of you from Weatherhead, I'd love to see you there. It's one of your own. It's Richard Boyatzis is doing a presentation on, it's a very long title, bear with me, why every leader should coach others. Coaching with compassion as a path to leadership development and physiological personal renewal. Okay, don't be scared. Come, it's going to be a great session. This is a very talented individual, and it's one of Case's signature faculty members in the School of Management. So please try and make that particular session. It's this Friday. It's at 12:30. I believe there will be food. I don't know, actually, now I said that. And if you have any questions, just email me or Christina Mastrangelo, our AD for leadership.
Vice President Thompson?
Pass over.
Any other announcements? Yes. Secretary Hahn?
Okay, so this Thursday we're having the CWRU Celebrity Bake Sale raffle on the quad from 11 to 3. There's a sign-up sheet going around, so if you can help just set up, tear down, and also help during the actual raffle, please sign up. I could use all the help that you guys can give. So, and also PR, tell people about it, tell people to come and buy raffle tickets. Thanks.
Excellent.
It's on the quad.
Vice President Nguyen?
This Thursday is also Power for Purple Day for Relay for Life. Make sure you wear your purple to kind of just support the event and kind of get the idea of the day out there and kind of, I guess, celebrate, fight back the whole Relay for Life.
President Pinder?
I know we're supposed to be submitting announcements early, so I apologize because it's supposed to be an expedite the process. But I do have an announcement. SEC will be meeting this Thursday. We're going to move it back to 9 o'clock just because of Thursday services. So myself, Max, and the new Mintry and Colin will be talking about the proposal to possibly reduce Greek Life's allocation by 20%. So if you do have any thoughts, please feel free to talk to myself, Max, Mintry, or Colin before Thursday. And I know some representatives and executive officers have been sick. Guys, please get some rest, enjoy. It's really bad to be wasting this weather, sniffling, sneezing, so please get some rest, take care of yourself. I care about you, and I'm sick when you're sick. All right, thanks.
Representative Begat?
So how would you get the information from the SEC meeting? Because next week, is next week with President Snyder? Or
what's your question?
You're meeting this Thursday with SEC, and then next Tuesday, Barbara Stein's going to be here. So will you discuss SEC next week? Will you just directly be short, or will you send out?
Everything will be in my board report.
Okay.
Excellent. Any other announcements? They say very quickly, if your group hasn't applied for a booth for Springfest yet, you need to do that soon. If you'd like to be a volunteer and get a sweet t-shirt, if you haven't seen our logo yet, it is unreal. Do sign up for that. We're going to close those submissions next week, so I'll get on that. Any other announcements? Are you sure? Do you want to ask me something, Claire Hammond? Get out. Thank you.
Future nursing caucus.
Exactly, like 2 minutes, please.
What are you doing right now? Yeah, I guess I have to be with the exec. Whatever, we can just talk. We'll go over to the Scholar and get a beer. We'll go over to the Scholar and get a beer. I'll cover for you.